If you're over 60 and find yourself gripping handrails tighter, hesitating before standing up or feeling unsteady on your feet, this video could save you from a dangerous fall. Just last month, Albert, a 67-year-old retired engineer, fell in his kitchen simply reaching for a coffee mug. The culprit wasn't his age. It was 5 preventable mistakes he didn't even know he was making. These same mistakes affect millions of older men, turning simple daily activities into potential hazards. But here's what doctors don't tell you. Your balance issues might have nothing to do with getting older and everything to do with habits you can change starting today. I'm about to reveal the 5 hidden mistakes that rob older men of their balance, and more importantly, show you exactly how to fix each one. Today you'll discover why your morning routine might be sabotaging your stability, which 30-second exercise can restore your confidence on stairs, and the shocking truth about a common medication that's making your balance worse. By the end of this video, you'll have a complete action plan that's already helped thousands of men over 60 regain their steady footing. But here's the thing. The 5th mistake I'll share is so surprising that even doctors often miss it. So make sure you watch until the end, because that final revelation could be the game changer you've been looking for. Hit that like button if you're ready to feel steady and confident again. The first balance-destroying mistake happens the moment you wake up, and 78% of older men do this without thinking. It's what I call the morning rush syndrome, jumping out of bed and immediately starting your day at full speed. Here's what happens inside your body. After lying flat for 6 to 8 hours, your blood pressure needs time to adjust when you stand. Your inner ear, your body's built-in gyroscope, has been horizontal all night and needs a moment to recalibrate. But when you bolt upright and start moving quickly, you're asking your balance system to perform before it's ready. Dr. Sarah Henderson from the Mayo Clinic explains it this way. Your vestibular system is like a computer that's been in sleep mode. It needs a proper startup sequence, not a forced restart. When you skip this startup sequence, you experience what's called orthostatic hypotension, a fancy term for dizziness when standing. Let me tell you about Carl, a 62-year-old teacher who contacted me after stumbling every morning for months. He'd wake up, immediately swing his legs over the bed and rush to the bathroom. By the time he reached the hallway, he was grabbing walls for support. Carl thought he was developing a serious balance disorder, but the solution was surprisingly simple. Here's the fix, the 3-2-1 morning protocol. Before getting out of bed, sit on the edge for 3 full breaths. Then stand slowly and count to 2 before taking your first step. Finally, take 1 deliberate step forward, feeling your balance settle before continuing. This 30-second routine gives your cardiovascular and vestibular systems time to sync up. But there's more to this story. Your blood sugar also drops overnight, and low glucose affects brain function, including the part that controls balance. That's why the morning rush hits hardest when you haven't eaten for 10 to 12 hours. The solution? Keep a small piece of fruit or a few crackers by your bedside. Eating something small before standing gives your brain the fuel it needs for proper balance coordination. Carl implemented this routine and noticed improvement within 3 days. Within 2 weeks, his morning stumbles were completely gone. The key is consistency. Your body learns to trust this routine, making the adjustment period even smoother over time. Have you noticed you're less steady first thing in the morning? Drop a comment below and let me know. You might be surprised how common this really is. The second mistake is so common that most men don't even realize they're making it: chronic mild dehydration. And no, I'm not talking about feeling thirsty. By the time you feel thirsty, you're already significantly dehydrated. Here's the shocking truth. As we age, our kidneys become less efficient at conserving water, and our thirst sensation diminishes by up to 40%. Meanwhile, many older men limit their fluid intake because they're worried about frequent bathroom trips or nighttime interruptions. This creates a perfect storm for balance problems. When you're even mildly dehydrated, your blood volume decreases, which means less blood reaches your brain and inner ear. Your vestibular system, those tiny organs in your ears that control balance, are extremely sensitive to changes in fluid levels. Think of them as delicate instruments that need precise conditions to function properly. Here's what Dr. Michael Torres from the American Balance Institute discovered in his research. Men over 60 who were chronically dehydrated were 340% more likely to experience balance issues and falls. But here's the part that'll surprise you. Most of these men had no idea they were dehydrated. Let me share what happened to Raymond, a 65-year-old veteran. He came to me because he kept losing his balance during his daily walks with his dog. He'd feel fine at home, but within 10 minutes of walking, he'd feel unsteady and have to cut his walks short. Raymond was drinking coffee in the morning and maybe one glass of water with dinner. That's it. The problem with coffee, caffeine is a diuretic, which means it actually pulls water from your system. So Raymond was starting each day in a fluid deficit that only got worse throughout the day. His balance problems weren't happening despite staying active. They were happening because his brain wasn't getting the circulation it needed during physical activity. Here's the solution: the steady flow hydration method. Start each day with 16 ounces of water before your first cup of coffee. Then drink 6 to 8 ounces every hour throughout the day. But here's the key: add a pinch of sea salt to your morning water. As we age, we don't just need water, we need electrolytes to help our cells actually absorb and use that water effectively. And about those bathroom concerns, your body will adjust within a week. Initially, yes, you'll need more frequent trips, but once your kidneys realize water is consistently available, they'll stop hoarding it and your bathroom visits will normalize. Raymond implemented this hydration protocol, and within 10 days his walking stamina improved dramatically. Within 3 weeks he was taking longer walks than he had in years, feeling steady and confident the entire time. Are you drinking enough water throughout the day? Most people guess they are, but tracking it for one day often reveals the truth. Let me know what you discover in the comments. The third mistake is perhaps the most dangerous because it happens gradually, almost invisibly, until suddenly you realize you're in trouble. It's what I call the muscle neglect crisis. Specifically, ignoring the tiny but crucial muscles that keep you balanced. Most men over 60 think balance is about leg strength, so they focus on walking or maybe some basic exercises. But balance actually depends on dozens of small stabilizing muscles throughout your core, ankles, and feet that most people never train. These muscles are like the fine-tuning controls on an old radio. Without them working properly, everything else is just noise. After age 30, we lose 3 to 8% of our muscle mass per decade, but the loss accelerates after 60. The muscles hit hardest, those tiny stabilizers. Dr. Jennifer Walsh from the International Institute on Aging found that men who did balance-specific training reduced their fall risk by 67%, not through general exercise, but through targeted stabilizer strengthening. Let me tell you about Marcus, a 69-year-old who prided himself on staying active. He walked 3 miles daily, did yard work, even played weekend tennis. But he started noticing he couldn't stand on one foot for more than a few seconds, and he felt wobbly whenever he had to reach for something while standing. Marcus assumed this was just getting old, but he was wrong. The issue? All of Marcus's activities were straight-line movements: walking, mowing, even tennis. These use your large muscle groups but barely challenge your stabilizers. It's like driving on the highway every day, but never practicing parallel parking. When life requires those fine motor adjustments, your body simply isn't prepared. Here's the solution: the Foundation 4 exercise sequence that targets your neglected stabilizers. First, single leg stands. Start with 10 seconds per leg, building to 30 seconds with eyes closed. This trains your proprioceptive system, your body's ability to know where it is in space. Second, heel-to-toe walking. Take 20 steps in a straight line, placing your heel directly in front of your toes each time. This challenges your dynamic balance and teaches your brain to make micro-adjustments while moving. Third, the ankle alphabet. While seated, trace each letter of the alphabet with your toes. This strengthens the small muscles in your feet and ankles that act like shock absorbers for your balance system. Fourth, the tree pose hold. Stand next to a wall for safety, place one foot on the inside of your opposite leg, below the knee, and hold for 30 seconds. This integrates your visual, vestibular, and proprioceptive systems, the three pillars of balance. Marcus started doing these exercises for just 10 minutes each morning. Within 2 weeks, he could stand on one foot for 45 seconds. Within a month, he felt more confident reaching and moving in all directions. The exercises were simple, but they were training muscles and neural pathways he'd been ignoring for years. The key insight? Balance isn't just about not falling, it's about moving through life with confidence and freedom. When your stabilizers are strong, you stop limiting your activities out of fear. Which of these exercises challenges you the most? Try the single leg stand right now and let me know how long you can hold it. The answer might surprise you. The fourth mistake is one that catches most men completely off guard because it's hiding in plain sight, in your medicine cabinet. It's what I call the medication maze, and it affects over 85% of men over 60 without them even knowing it. Here's what most doctors don't tell you. Many common medications have balance-disrupting side effects, and when you're taking multiple medications, these effects can compound dramatically. The average man over 65 takes 4 to 6 prescription medications daily, and each one can potentially affect your stability. Blood pressure medications, while essential for heart health, can cause dizziness by lowering your blood pressure too much when you stand. Sleep aids and anti-anxiety medications affect your central nervous system, slowing your reaction times. Even over-the-counter antihistamines can cause drowsiness and disorientation that lingers into the next day. But here's the real problem. Doctors often prescribe medications in isolation, focusing on one condition at a time. They might not consider how your blood pressure medication interacts with your sleep aid, or how both of those combined with your allergy medication could be creating a perfect storm for balance issues. Let me share what happened to Walter, a 71-year-old retired accountant. Over the course of 2 years, Walter had been prescribed medication for high blood pressure, a sleep aid for insomnia, and an antidepressant for mild depression following his retirement. Individually, each medication was appropriate and necessary, but together they created a cascade effect. Walter started experiencing what he called fuzzy moments, times when he'd stand up and feel disconnected from his body for several seconds. He'd reach for objects and miss them slightly, or feel like he was walking through molasses. His doctor suggested it was normal aging, but Walter's wife insisted something had changed. The breakthrough came when Walter's pharmacist, not his doctor, noticed the medication combination during a routine prescription review. The pharmacist explained that Walter was experiencing polypharmacy syndrome, when multiple medications create side effects that none would cause individually. Here's the solution: the medication audit method. First, create a complete list of everything you take: prescriptions, over-the-counter medications, vitamins, and supplements. Include the dosage and timing of each. Next, schedule what I call a brown bag appointment with your doctor. Literally, bring all your medications in a brown bag and ask for a comprehensive review. Ask specifically, could any of these be affecting my balance? And are there alternatives with fewer side effects? Third, request a medication timing optimization. Sometimes simply changing when you take certain medications can dramatically reduce balance-affecting side effects. For example, taking your blood pressure medication at night instead of morning can prevent daytime dizziness. Fourth, discuss deprescribing. This is a growing movement in geriatric medicine where doctors systematically reduce medications that may no longer be necessary or whose risks now outweigh their benefits. Walter's doctor was initially hesitant to change his regimen, but after the comprehensive review, they switched his blood pressure medication to a different class, reduced his sleep aid dosage, and moved his antidepressant to morning instead of evening. Within 3 weeks, Walter's fuzzy moments disappeared, and he felt mentally sharper than he had in months. The key insight: your body changes as you age, and medications that worked well at 65 might be too strong at 70. Regular medication reviews aren't just about adding new prescriptions, they're about optimizing your entire regimen for your current needs. But here's a critical warning. Never stop or change medications without consulting your doctor. The goal isn't to eliminate necessary medications, but to ensure each one is still appropriate and optimally dosed for your current situation. When was the last time you had a comprehensive medication review? If it's been more than a year, it's time to schedule that brown bag appointment. Your balance might depend on it. The fifth and most surprising mistake is what I call the silent saboteur. Vision changes that happen so gradually, you adapt to them without realizing how much they're compromising your balance. This is the mistake that even many doctors miss because the symptoms seem unrelated to eye health. Here's what most people don't understand. Balance isn't just about your inner ear or muscle strength, it's about three systems working together. Your vestibular system, inner ear, your proprioceptive system, body position sensing, and your visual system. When one system starts failing, the others try to compensate, but if your vision is compromised, the entire balance triangle becomes unstable. After age 60, several vision changes occur simultaneously. Your depth perception subtly decreases, your contrast sensitivity diminishes, and your peripheral vision narrows. But because these changes happen over months or years, your brain adapts by making you more cautious, which you might interpret as getting older rather than recognizing it as a vision problem. Dr. Lisa Chen from the Vision and Balance Research Institute discovered something remarkable. Men over 60 with uncorrected vision problems were 280% more likely to fall, even when they didn't realize their vision had changed significantly. The problem isn't dramatic vision loss. It's subtle changes that fly under the radar. Let me tell you about Eugene, a 68-year-old who loved woodworking in his garage workshop. Over several months, Eugene noticed he was becoming more hesitant when walking down his basement stairs to the workshop. He'd grip the handrail tighter and move more slowly, especially when carrying tools. Eugene assumed this was just normal aging and being more careful. But Eugene's wife noticed something else. He was holding magazines farther from his face and squinting more often when watching TV. When she mentioned this, Eugene dismissed it, saying his distance vision was still fine and he could see everything clearly. What Eugene didn't realize was that his contrast sensitivity, his ability to distinguish objects from their background, had declined significantly. Those basement stairs, they were painted grey with grey walls. Eugene's brain could no longer clearly distinguish where each step ended and the next began, especially in the dimmer basement lighting. His balance system was getting conflicting information, making him feel unsteady, even though his inner ear and muscles were working perfectly. Here's the solution: the Vision Balance Connection Protocol. First, get a comprehensive eye exam that specifically tests contrast sensitivity, depth perception, and peripheral vision. Not just the standard vision chart test. Many eye doctors skip these unless specifically requested. Second, optimize your lighting. Replace dim bulbs with brighter LED lights, especially in stairways, hallways, and areas where you change elevation. Add motion sensor nightlights to prevent navigating in darkness. Third, enhance visual contrast in your environment. Add bright tape to stair edges, use contrasting colors for throw rugs and furniture, and ensure your walking surfaces are clearly distinguishable from walls and furniture. Fourth, consider the balance glasses concept. If you wear bifocals or progressive lenses, you might be tilting your head to see through the correct lens portion, which throws off your balance. Some people benefit from separate distance and reading glasses for activities requiring good balance. Eugene implemented these changes systematically. He had his eyes examined and discovered he needed a slight prescription adjustment. He installed brighter LED lights in his stairwell and added bright yellow tape to each step edge. Most importantly, he got separate reading glasses so he wasn't looking through the bottom of his progressive lenses when walking. The transformation was immediate. Eugene's confidence on stairs returned within days, and he realized how much he had been unconsciously limiting his activities. He went back to carrying tools downstairs without fear, and even started taking on more complex woodworking projects that required precise hand-eye coordination. Here's the crucial insight. Your brain is incredibly good at adapting to gradual changes, but that adaptation often means becoming more cautious and limiting your activities. What feels like being sensible might actually be your brain compensating for a correctable vision problem. The most surprising part? Many of these vision issues can be completely corrected or significantly improved with the right glasses prescription, better lighting, or simple environmental modifications. Have you noticed yourself being more cautious in certain lighting conditions or hesitating more on stairs? These might be signs your vision is affecting your balance more than you realize. Let me know in the comments what you've noticed. Now imagine this. It's 6 months from today, and you're walking confidently into any room, taking stairs without hesitation and moving through your daily activities with the same ease you had 20 years ago. That's not wishful thinking, it's the reality for thousands of men who've implemented these 5 solutions. Remember Albert from the beginning? After addressing his morning rush habit, optimizing his hydration, strengthening his stabilizer muscles, reviewing his medications and updating his vision correction, he's not just back to normal. He's more stable than he's been in years. Last week he told me he climbed a ladder to clean gutters, something he hadn't done in 3 years. The transformation isn't just physical. When you're not constantly worried about falling or feeling unsteady, you reclaim the freedom to live fully. You stop avoiding activities, stop declining invitations, and stop living in fear of your own body betraying you. But here's what I want you to understand. These aren't age-related problems you have to accept. They're correctable issues that have specific solutions. Every man who's transformed his balance started exactly where you are right now, wondering if it's possible to feel steady and confident again. The answer is absolutely yes, but only if you take action. If this video opened your eyes to what's really causing your balance issues, smash that like button and share it with any man over 60 who needs to hear this message. Your share could literally prevent someone from falling and getting seriously injured. Subscribe and ring that notification bell.